right, hey guys, Sam back with you here on Wednesday, August 8th. And this is an update we're doing per request from our Twitter followers. So we ran a poll today, as we do on a regular basis, or really every week. We'll run a poll amongst our Twitter followers, let you guys decide what's going to get a review. So we did Bitcoin earlier, and now we're going to look at Ethereum. Well, so no surprise here, just as ugly, if not more ugly than Bitcoin. Crypto in general is just having a very ugly day, at least if you're a bull. So let's just do a quick recap here. So I've got the 4 hour of Ethereum to the dollar on GDAX. Now this count hasn't changed a whole lot recently. Excuse me. So the way I've got it here, so this trend line has certainly been significant. So I've got us doing a WX, and then we're in the midst of an A, B, and the C is trying to find a low eventually down here. Now there have been a few very technical trades here on the short side. So a couple that I've shown previously. I believe this was our first one here. So you can see here we went right into the golden zone, came right down to target, had a pretty substantial reaction, but then the thinking has been that if we just worked with that same pivot, we came down to this new low, we went to the 50, where we set up this trend line here, we went to the 50, and now we have this target down here at 149. Certainly looks like there's a path to get there. And again, as I will always remind you, just because there's an algo target does not mean it's inevitable that we get there. Many targets go unrealized. We can look at a roadmap as to how it gets there, but right now it's sort of looking like it might get there. Right? I remember the very first time I posted that as a danger sign, and boy, the commentary that I got about that was Ethereum at approximately, we'll round it to 800, and I was saying, well, we had the possibility here that we'd be going down to 150. Woo, man, that was quite a reaction I got upon saying that. But again, this is not opinion. This is not my fundamental review of what's happening with Ethereum. That's just drawing up major pivots and recognizing that I've got algo participation here and looking at a target. So there's no rocket science involved in that kind of prediction. But we know that's there, so we can, recognizing that that's a target, now it becomes a matter of, well, does this count make sense? Does it fit? Where could we be? So if we look here, if that's our B, this says, boy, we've got great subdivision here if you're a bear. All of this ongoing subdivision, let's get this refreshed here, just continues to support the bear case. So this here, there was some possibility here that we had a significant low here, and that we were going to have a truncated C relative to the A, B, and the C, because we had such good subdivision down here. Maybe this was the start of it. We don't get it. We roll over, and now we've just gone straight into an impulse. So here's the last pivot, and that was technical as well. I think I've shown this previously. I'm just using this last significant swing high as a retracement here, and down to our low here. So you can see here we came 50 to the tick, right? And now we're just right at the algo target as I'm recording this, and we're getting a little bit of a bounce. So more than likely that is algo participation right here. So there, the algo that sold it there is now starting to take some profit here. Now we don't know that that's the 3 low, but it's not unreasonable that we might look for that reaction there that would set up a 4, right? So if we carry this, we just continue to bring this lower, right? So this would be a reasonable place to be looking for a 4, and then perhaps there's one more leg down for a 5. So we've got, reasonable, just again, standard ops, we'll wick off that 1. We don't know that that's a pivot. There's not a lot of help here from oscillators. We don't have traditional divergence really relative. If you were trying to pick apart, well, we'd have to do it on a lower time frame. Maybe we do. Let's go down to the hourly. I don't think we do. So if this is 1, 2, let's get up here for 2, and we were playing as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We don't really, it's pretty much not great. Not enough divergence there to call that, or to lean into that oscillator for help. So maybe just hitting that algo target is significant. So potentially now it would set up. Let's get that back. It would set us up for potential play here for the 3 rallying into the 4. So let's squeeze this all a bit and see what that might look like. So if we get this reaction, you see this reaction we're getting as we hit the algo target. So we would just, same thing we would as always, we would just take the length of that third. Again, I don't know that's the third. It's just potentially now we have a reaction there at an algo target. So that would set us up for somewhere in this zone. So this would be clearly an area to be watching and paying attention for. If we were to come back up to this 38 to the 50 in this zone and bump into that downsloping trend line that's been so significant, that is not an unreasonable place to be looking for the next pivot down. So we'd have this here. So if we construct that here, so if, again, if, I don't know, but if we get something like this, then we'd be looking for this to finish something like that, right? So then we'd have the completion. I have to double click to get that to unstick. So then we have the completion here. So we'd have from this B, granted that's a shallow B relative to how long that A wave was, but we've got this nice 3-wave structure, and then it looks like 1, 2, 3, maybe that 3 low is going in now. We look for that 4 to come in over here, and then one more drive down. Now where does that put us? Again, nothing says we have to stay with that symmetry. We could have an extension in the 5th. This whole thing could get moved lower. We could have a bigger 3, a bigger 1. We just don't know. I just kind of free draw these to see what does it look like if we were to get down there. Does that make sense? Can I build a roadmap that would get me there? So as far as I'm concerned, the next opportunity in Ethereum is to be a seller. Right, so if you were looking for this, because we have this very nice subdivision, this certainly looks like a third. We've got good impulsive structure here. All the subdivision we'd expect, that sets up rather nicely as a potential 4 to take us back down. Then if we put it all back together and see what that looks like, we're anticipating now at the very least we're going to come down here. Did we hit it? Well, looks like, well, it's interesting. So it looks like at the same time we're bumping into this algo target, we're hitting this structural support as I drawn it in over here. So all I did was just wick off. Let me see if I can squeeze back out. All I did was just wick off a prior area here, a potential resistance, offering some support. So interestingly, that's kicking in right as we visit the algo target. So potentially now we get a little bump there, but it's just potential. It's just we don't know that that's the third, but at some point here we'll get a pivot and a retrace, and the next opportunity given this count is for the short side, looking for a move down. So yet again for bulls, it's hurry up and wait. Let this be realized, but I would not be approaching any new bullish trades here until, let's see if I can put this back together. Until we get completion here, we get this 5-wave structure to complete. They give us a candidate now for nothing more than a candidate for a low. And the next opportunity would be wait, just as we've been trying to do with Bitcoin, try and get a 5-wave structure, give us a motive wave, and then trade that first A-B-C down looking to get the 3. That's the next opportunity for bulls. It's not here, it's here. So again, hypothetically, it's nothing more than hypothetical. If we were to pivot down here and we get a 5-wave and we come down here, so again, golden zone. So if we were to get this motive wave and we got a little ABC, we don't know what that looks like. Again, this is all just hypothetical. If we get that 3-wave, here's your next opportunity after we've established a potential pivot down here that gave us the structure we'd be looking for and also gave us some of those targets that would make sense with regards to the larger count. So all of this playing down here to finish, would put us, I'm just, again, this freehanding, just 260-ish. I want to see 5 come off of that. Next opportunity is the buy for the first retracement, right? And that gives you the opportunity to be a buyer here, knowing very well where your stop needs to be. So if we're a buyer here, either your stop's under the 786 because you don't want to give it too much room, right? Because we're trying to pick the first retracement, or your stop's under the pivot. So knowing that this could be a 1-2, you've got good upside into that 3. You're going to have to get through all of the resistance on the way back up. But that's your next opportunity for a buy. So I see sell it, wait for 5, wait for the retrace, next buy. So it's a lot of patience is the challenge right now in crypto, particularly on the bull side. There's just very, very little to support any bullish bias, and there's almost no market that looks particularly good. Certainly not today. Now there's a few outliers here that are getting some traction, Ethereum Classic and a few other that have some bullish news, but the broader market just looks very, very weak. And until we get a bottom in Bitcoin, it seems like that's likely to continue, at least in the near term. And that's about as best I can offer to you. So that's what I'm seeing here, guys. Just a reminder, please do give us a follow on Twitter if you'd like to be involved in some of this polling that we do, or pick what we're analyzing here. Just a reminder that to crypto purists, when you're just faced with an overwhelming bear market across the entire asset class, that's really not a bad time to be looking at other assets. So you'll find on this channel we show you this methodology applied to every type of asset, whether you're trading in futures, equities, forex. There's plenty of opportunity to be trading and not fighting a raging bear here, right? So, keep that in mind. You want to stay flexible as a trader. If you're crypto only, I would encourage you to, at the very least, start applying some of this. So if you have access to TradingView, which I'm going to assume that you do, start looking through some of the other asset classes. Take this same methodology, everything that I teach you here. You'll have some references here through the videos that we do on a regular basis on traditional assets. But take what you're learning here and start applying it to other asset classes. I think you'll find there's plenty of opportunity across the markets. Just if you're looking for bullish setups in crypto, they just ain't there at the moment. All right, guys, you can always learn more about us over on our website. That's tradedevils.com. There's information underneath this video. If you're interested in our contest that we're offering, we're giving away a couple of memberships. Keep that in mind. Other than that, I will be back to you tomorrow.